Welcome to the Sentinel High School football recap. I'm Perry Mattern alongside Jake Adams, talking about week 2 of the District 3 playoffs. 3 games in the Sentinel area this week, and let's start with the only team that lost of the 3, Cumberland Valley. They fall 49-7 to Governor Mifflin.
That defense, for the first time all year, actually got beat, really, we can say. Nearly 8 yards a carry they allowed. I mean, that's just kind of surprising. And Jake Hunt, too, right. 2 picks that he had. He doesn't get relied on much, but it kind of makes you wonder, is that why they didn't really rely on him?
Well, I would give the defense some credit for the way they played early. Mm-hmm. The first 3 drives for Governor Mifflin all were in CV territory, and they actually stopped him on all 3 of those drives. But the offense turning the ball over, and then Jan Johnson and Wilson Fontanez for Governor Mifflin really just wore down Cumberland Valley. And they kind of got knocked down and then never got back up.
Yeah.
And sometimes those games happen, whether it's in the first week of the season or it's in the last.
And when the pressure gets put on the defense like that,
right.
To that extreme, because they've had that pressure all year, but to this extreme is nothing like they've faced all year.
Right. At least they were able to move the ball offensively. Yeah. Last night it was really non-existent. All right, in District 3 Single A, Camp Hill beats DeLone Catholic 17-0. Seeing that score is a very odd Camp Hill score.
They actually didn't get anything really going through the ground like we thought. I mean, 70 yards for Bill Williams, but even the passing game didn't break 200 yards to the air either. It's a cold night, so obviously Schuster's going to not have his normal easy day. But that defense played great. Yeah,
then that's an encouraging factor for them as they are now on to the District 3A championship. They will take on York Catholic next Saturday at noon. And we'll talk about this more in the preview, but I think this result is very encouraging for Camp Hill Lion fans.
Yeah, we've questioned their defense, obviously. They give up a ton of yards, and again, they put opposing offenses in the situation where they have to go for broke all the time. But to allow just 128 yards rushing in one night, that's a pretty good win for them because they usually don't control teams like that.
We'll talk about that defensive performance a little bit later when we get to our Sentinel Stars. Our final game of the 3, Redland handles Conrad Weiser 42-21, and this was impressive by the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, the score actually really doesn't indicate how well that game went. They gave up a 60-yard run to start the game, opening drive touchdown, immediately drove down the field, picked up 4 or 5 first downs, steady as she goes, 6 yards per carry, got on the board, scored the next 2 drives in a row. Second half, they used a fumble recovery, 4th down conversions, a surprise onside kick to just keep the momentum and basically put the final nails in the coffin.
They really are a momentum kind of team. When they get things going in the right direction, they're a tough team to stop. And you mentioned that first play, 60-yard run for Conrad Weiser. You take that away, 23 carries, 99 yards. That's a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this with this team all year where they come out really slow to start. And against Lower Dauphin, one of the last times I saw them, especially so, basically the entire first half they weren't in this game. But to give up one big play and then buckle down the way they did, that's improvement. Granted, they would like to shut down that team on 3 and out in the first drive, but it's better than falling behind 14-20-0, something like that.
And a very balanced offensive effort. Justin Johnson, a couple of touchdowns. Overton got his yards, caught one in the air, and Garrett Scott was very good.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about him in the Sentinel Stars right now. He's our first Sentinel Star. Had a great game on the ground, led the team in rushing, and then was efficient through the pass game again.
And the one thing I talked about that surprised me in our preview video this week was just the team is 3-3 when he carries the ball more than 10 times. Well, he was at 10 carries by the first half pretty easily and had no trouble whatsoever with that offense. Right. It was cold. He wasn't going to throw the ball too much, but that offense mixing in the sweeps and the inside runs and all the other stuff that they do so well was just clicking all night. And once Conrad Weiser kind of fell behind, they really couldn't dig themselves back up in this game. And Redland just kept things going. They didn't really slow down.
Scott had a lot of success early on against Bishop McDevitt and then faded off in the second half. And that's who he gets next. We'll see what kind of attack they go with to try to handle the Crusaders, who really had a very easy day once again on Saturday, beating Manheim Central 35-10. All right, our second Sentinel Star, and this was my pick, Bill Williams, 2 touchdowns. We had a great picture. If you didn't pick up the Sentinel on Saturday morning, his one-handed catch, which I have heard from people on Twitter and stuff, was just an incredible play for his first touchdown.
And there's another one we got right here on the inside, too, where he's making a nice leaping catch right in front of the end zone. the kid comes out and balls. 70 yards through the air, 70 yards rushing. They do everything they can with him. Defensively, he's a good player there. Special teams ace, absolutely dominant there. And the stats don't jump out at you, but 140 yards is very quiet, but very, very sensational 140 yards he put up.
And the 2 touchdowns that Camp Hill scored in that game. And then the final, and this was, I think, our most surprising. The Camp Hill defense, I mean, you look at these statistics here, they hold DeLone Catholic to 6 completions on 21 attempts. They pick off 3 passes, allow 128 yards on on 36 carries. That's only a 3.5 yards per carry average. Very impressive effort by the Lions.
And we know this team is a ball-hawking defense. We know that's what they thrive on.
Right.
They're going to give up a ton of yards, but the way that the defense is going to help their offense out is by getting the ball, turning the ball over, and giving it to them in good position. Right. And they did that, but they actually showed up. They stepped up, and this front 7 had to have been good. I mean, neither one of us was there, but for them to put up these kind of numbers, you know that front 7 controlled the game. Also
forced 6 fumbles according to the box score that we got, and recovered 2 of them. So, yeah, as you mentioned, this was a good mix, not just turnovers. They were really an offense that was, or a defense that was bend, don't break, and just try to force a turnover instead of allowing the team to keep moving. So,
and Coach Frank Gay told me before the game, like, they were chomping at the bit for this game, and it showed the way that both sides. I mean, nothing jumps out except for the turnovers that they forced, but the offense was steady, not its explosive self, but solid enough given the game. And the defense was great. This is exactly what they wanted with 2-week break.
And they do not get the rematch with Steel High, which could be good or bad. I think they would have been very excited to play that game, and instead Steel High loses to York Catholic. So it will be Camp Hill and York Catholic for the District 3A title. We will talk about that game, and we will also discuss Redland and Bishop McDevitt in our what will be an extended preview on those 2 games. And that video will be coming out on Thursday night. We hope you check it out. Until then, Jake Adams, I'm Perry Mattern.